Good morning, Bella Vista.
Good morning.
We're here today to find out exactly what's going on in Bella Vista at the moment. My illustrious guest, Mayor Christie.
Good morning to you as well.
Yes. So I understand that we have a census coming up. Is that right?
We do. It's held every 10 years, and it's starting on April the 1st. And it is very, very important to all cities, counties, towns, that everybody be counted, because so much of the funding that we get, both from the feds and the state, all hinges on your census. You know, to give you an example now, we think that our population is somewhere between 31, maybe 32,000, but we're getting all our grants and our turnback fees for roads based on a census that was about 25,000.
Oh.
So we're losing 6,000 heads worth of money that we need to put into the infrastructure that we're taking out of general funds as opposed to using those funds for something else. So very, very important that everybody be counted, please. It means a great deal to all of us.
Gotcha. So who actually does that census? Is it the state or the federal or both, or who does that?
It's the federal, but they work very closely with the states, and they work closely with us, and we have a census committee. Our city clerk is prime on setting all this up. You can either do it online, you can do it the old-fashioned way with paper, or you can even telephone in.
Really?
Yep. And if they haven't received anything from you over a period of time, then they're going to send somebody out to knock on your door.
Okay.
Because it is just so crucial that everybody be counted.
And that will be available starting the 1st of April?
Correct.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. Well, I look forward to that. Everything is electronic now, so we'll see. I hope it's not a robocall.
I hope it's not a robocall either. No, I think you actually have to pick up the phone and call.
Oh, I got you. Okay, that sounds fine. All right, well, let's talk about what's on a lot of people's minds right now, especially the city and those of us who care about the city.
Sure.
And that's the upcoming bond on the ballot for the primary. That's March the 3rd.
Yes, and in fact, early voting is in progress right now.
Yes.
The bond we have discussed a couple of times on this program, but just to refresh everybody's memory, you're going to see 3 different blocks of information on the ballot itself. The first is, it's kind of an introduction saying what we're going to spend it on, and that there'll be a 1% sales and use tax that has a life expectancy of about 10 to 12 years. It doesn't say that, but as soon as it's paid off. Then you'll be asked about the either the fire or the police first. I can't remember which.
I think it's the fire.
Is it the fire?
Mm-hmm.
And of course there are 2 projects wrapped into that. There's the replacement of the Branchwood Fire Station, which really needs to be done, and also setting up our own fire training tower at long last, and also putting in, it'll be a part-time fire station that'll be manned probably between 8 and 5. And eventually the plan is to turn that into a fire station number 5, a proper one.
Gotcha.
And then the third question is going to be surrounding the public safety complex, and that'll be police and the court and the dispatch center, because the dispatch center not only does police, but it does EMS and fire as well. So you're going to see those 3 different blocks. We've had a lot of town hall meetings, and there's another one coming up next week. It's going to be out in Metfield. Mm-hmm. By all means, come along, bring your questions. We've had a fairly good turnout for the past 3 town hall meetings, but I've been speaking to clubs about this since, October of last year, mm-hmm. and I've probably spoken to over 400 people, and everybody's in favor of it. And it's something that our community truly, truly needs.
And I've felt the same thing when talking to people. You know, somebody did ask me a question the other day, so I thought I would have you help me clarify it.
Sure.
They were saying, like, you know, why do we need a courthouse? It's only used once a month and blah, blah, blah. It's not only used once a month.
No, we actually have court days. It's twice a month, but then we have a full-time clerk and a part-time, and we've got people coming in all the time on warrants, or they want to pay their fines, or the court's been held and they don't have the money on that day, so they want to come back and pay it. It's busy all the time. And there's always record transfers, so whenever the police are writing a ticket now, it's electronic tickets. And so it automatically feeds into the software that the court is using, and they have to go in every day and make sure that it's in the right format and whatnot. So it is a full-time job. Interestingly, some of the other questions that I've been posed is, well, you're going to charge this 1 cent tax, and so you're going to get all this money, then you're going to get all the money from the bond. How do I know that you're going to pay the bond off? And the proceeds of the bond are assigned to a bond trustee. And so when we start to get bills coming in from all the construction, we will review them, make sure that the construction has indeed been done. Then we send it to the bond trustee for payment. We do not write a check.
Right.
And at the same token, the 1% sales tax does not come to the city. No sales tax that you remit goes to the city.
Right.
It goes to the state, and the state then parcels it out to the cities, towns, and counties. And if everybody approves this, then there's a proclamation very soon after, and I have to sign it, and that is sent down to DF&A in the state, which is the Department of Finance and Administration, and it flags that 1% as being used to pay off a bond, so that any monies that are collected, that additional 1% goes to the bond trustee, and the bond trustee is paying down the bond.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. You said you had another meeting coming up. That's good.
Yes.
And I'm hoping a lot of people are going ahead and voting. I know that I went down to the fire station yesterday, and it's not busy, so hey, go on in.
That's right. So
Get
that's
it out of
fire
the way.
station number 1.
Exactly.
They did get 62 people actually coming out yesterday, and I checked in with them again this morning, and there was a constant flow of people. So that's good. I hope people are taking advantage of the early voting.
Oh, me too. Me
Yeah.
too. Okay. Another big thing that always kind of comes up. Where do we stand on Sunset Drive?
Yeah, Sunset Drive has been going on now for almost 2 years.
Yeah.
There is still, I think, some discussion internally amongst Dr. Hull's architects, engineers, and construction people. But what they have done is now hired another construction company, and they're going to finish the retention wall, and they're going to work on the road because this has gone on far too long.
Yeah.
And the taxpayers are not going to pay a dime for this. It had nothing to do with us at all. At some point in their engineering or construction, and I'm sure that's what they're all discussing, something failed. And so the cliff fell, and it took part of the road with it. And that's not a taxpayer problem.
Right.
And luckily, you know, we paved Cedar Crest and Suits Us the year before it happened, so that there's lots of access down from Cunningham onto 71. I'm being told that this third-party construction company may start next month. I'm hoping so, because we are not going to give a certificate of occupancy to Dr. Hull until it's fixed. And I also want a $100,000 bond for 2 years in case it fails again. And we've been very clear about our expectations right from the onset. And I think the delays, frankly, have just been due to the internal discussions that they've been having as to who should really fix it.
Gotcha. I understand. Well, you know what? I've noticed something kind of new and shiny driving down 71, going to or from Jane Walmart, and there's some flashing lights going on. What's going on?
Yes, the 3-year labor of love. It's the new traffic lights at Kingsland and 71. As you know, over the years, we've had some fatalities there. We continue to have accidents. It's very difficult at times to judge the speed of the northbound traffic as they come around the curve. And there's just no forgiving. If you err in your caution, then you're going to be in an accident. And so we started this venture, and it's at the point now where the lights are installed, and they're flashing yellow southbound and northbound, and if you go down Kingsland, it's flashing red. This is a normal state requirement just before you activate the lights. It's not only to make sure that the electricity is working and everything's fine, but it's to send a caution note to everybody, get ready, because these lights are going to go active. So this afternoon, and this is the 19th of February, they will be doing an upload of software, and they'll be actually doing all the timing with the other lights, because all the lights along 71 are all timed using cell technology to make sure that we don't have a backup because one light decides to hold traffic up too much. And so that's got to be brought into that sequence. Fingers crossed, next Tuesday, which will be, what, the 25th, those lights are going to go live. And I think a lot of people are really going to benefit from it. And I know that we will see the accidents go down.
Absolutely. So timing, I'm always interested about that.
Yes.
As long as you're doing the proper speed limit,
Yes.
you'll be able to go all the way through.
Well, it also depends the timing when you hit the first light. It is possible to hit a green light all the way through.
Yes.
It doesn't happen very often.
I understand. I understand.
Because you get the traffic buildup.
Yes.
But more importantly, it's if there's a backup of traffic, then the sensors actually pick that up. And then it sends signals to the other lights to change a bit so that you don't have this tremendous backup and the lights are still changing and everything else. We took over the lights at County Road 40 from Bentonville about 2.5 years ago, and they said there was just absolutely no way to correct the timing. Well, there was. It turned out that their controllers and some of their software was hopelessly out of date. So we updated everything. Now it's at the point where it moves, and the timing is set correctly. The only thing that prevents it from working properly is an accident. If there's an accident, it'll back all the way up to City Hall.
Gotcha.
And then it takes 2 hours to clear.
Gotcha.
So there's still a lot of traffic going down that road. You know, the traffic count at the Missouri border is 20,000 vehicles a day.
Oh my.
The traffic count going on and off of 49 at the bottom is up to 50,000 now.
My goodness.
So the difference is all of us driving.
Absolutely. I think we need to take a quick break.
We will.
And we'll be right back.
All right.
So hello.
Hi.
We're back again, and you know, Mayor Christie, I just interviewed John Nuttall this morning, who's
Yes.
done an amazing job on the trails for walkers and things like that.
Yes.
But I understand you have an update on the soft surface of the new Sugar Creek trails?
We do. Its total trail length will be around 53 miles. They've got 47 built.
Oh.
Of the tunnels, there are 2 left. There's one that's at Camden and Lancashire that they're about to work on, and they've already set up the one-way traffic light. And then there's another one on 279. If they have the money, they will build. But it's exciting. I'm hoping that we're going to have it all up and running perhaps by the end of March.
Really? That's soon?
That's soon.
That's great.
We've been blessed not having a lot of snow. And it's broken into 2 parts. We have the hard tunnel side because they're crossing our easement, so the Walton family gave that portion of the cost to us and gave us the money. And so we've been paying it out as the bills come in to all the contractors. The actual soft surface trails themselves is through Trailblazers, and that's a separate grant to Trailblazers. But we work very closely with Trailblazers. In fact, this afternoon I have a meeting with Trailblazers and the state highways. So it's finally coming together.
Yeah.
And then I think we're going to take a short break for a while, for a few years, because by then we'll have almost 100 miles.
That's amazing.
It is. There's no other community in Northwest Arkansas that'll have it. And we have already seen interest. There is a run-ride race that is done over a weekend every year in December out of Blowing Springs. Well, they're now going to move the ride to another date and have 2 days of run-run. So on the first day, it'll be as it is now. There'll be a 13-mile race, 20-mile race, and a 40-mile race. But then they're going to have ultra running as well, 50 and 100 miles, possibly.
Whoa.
And it's, you know, it takes a long time to run the 100 miles. So they're doing it in the dark. we'll have to see if that comes to fruition. But the point being, it's already gaining interest and it's gaining a lot of momentum. There are people riding sections of the trails now, which are open, and we do encourage that. The feedback from those that are on the trails, both the walkers and the hikers, and runners and the bikes, is all very, very positive.
Yes.
It's great.
I was just so excited to have it confirmed with me again that the trails are not just for cyclists. They're not just for
heavens, no.
walkers. They're not.
No.
They're for everybody.
They are.
And it's beautiful.
And we see a lot of walkers. We see a lot of whole families, the grandchildren and then their children and then it's nice seeing whole families like that on the trails.
And when you say that, you've been out there walking them.
I've been out there walking them. I tried riding them once and decided I better stick to hard surface trails. But yeah, my wife and I hike them all the time.
Yeah. Oh, that's lovely. We live in such a gorgeous place.
We do. It's a wonderful place.
I can't get over how great it is. Okay, so this half-cent sales and use tax for streets. Tell me about this. What is this?
In 2013, all the voters in Arkansas elected to have a half-cent sales tax to help better the roads and improve the roads. And roughly, if I remember correctly, it's about 85 million a year goes to the state, and another 85 million is divided equally between the counties and the cities. So we have been enjoying $618,000 a year in grants, again based on census, as a result of this tax. Well, this tax is going to expire in 2013. It was only for 10 years. And so the governor has put a plan together, and he is putting it on the ballot for this coming November to renew the half-cent sales tax.
2013?
No, 2013, I'm sorry, was when it was first put in.
Gotcha.
But this year for the 2023 renewal, he's putting it on the ballot this year.
Gotcha, okay.
Because there's a ramp-up period to make sure that everything's going to be fine. That half-cent sales tax, again, is crucial to our existence up here because we don't have a lot of commercial tax base.
Exactly.
Try as we might, we've still got one company that owns the land. We have been making great strides in all our resurfacing. We actually threw an extra $1 million on top of the $1.2 million last year, and we were able to gain some more ground. And but we really need to keep that momentum, because while we're tackling the poorer streets or the condition of the streets, we have to keep our eyes on the green streets, the ones that are good, because they're deteriorating over time as well. And so we've got this constant flux back and forth. Okay, let's go after not the reds because they're lost, and you pick at them as you can. But you want to get at the fairs and you want to get to the criticals before they become lost. Because every time it slips into another category, it's going to cost you 6 times as much to get it back to the previous category. And we've learned all this over the years from working with the University of Arkansas. They have a whole team down there that works on how do you prepare roads and how do you fix roads. And we've had a company come in twice to assess every single street. And so we've put a lot of time and effort, and the street committee is looking at it every year. What streets do we do next? And we had about 186 that were in trouble, miles of streets, and we're now over 100 that we've recovered. So we couldn't do it without that half-cent sales tax.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
A lot of people would say when they know I'm from Bella Vista is, it's all curvy and hilly and everything up there. And I said, yeah, but we really do have good streets. I believe we do.
Yeah, we do.
Going home at night in the dark, for some of us that are a little older and don't like to do that, I'm always impressed. And
we always really appreciate feedback from the residents, because we've got 550 miles of streets.
Oh, yeah.
That's more than Little Rock has. Our whole street department is about 27 people. And so I always appreciate it when people say, on this certain section of a road, there's been some work, and the fog line, that's the white line on the side, is gone. And I really rely on that for night driving.
Exactly.
And so as soon as you tell us that, we will send a crew out, and they'll actually put down some tape that they can thermal onto the surface, and then we'll come back again when our striping company comes in, usually in the summertime. and we'll get it properly striped. But we can react immediately and get it fixed so that people can see and be safe.
Well, that's good to know. So I'm telling you right now, you need to do some restriping on some of the other roads.
We
My
do.
roads are great.
Yep.
But I can't speak for anybody else. But
And we've been working with the company working on the bypass. Edinburgh was getting all torn up towards the
Yes.
end of last year. And I wrote to the state and said, look, guys, you can't be, we got to have a plan to fix this. Because I'm not going to have taxpayer dollars fix it. It's your heavy trucks that are doing this. And lo and behold, in January, I got a call from my street superintendent and said the road's fixed. And so I went to state, and they said, yeah, we just simply talked to Emery Sap, which is the big company that's putting in the bypass.
yes.
And as soon as the heaviest of the trucks were finished, out they went and they fixed the street.
Amazing.
So it's nice to have that partnership with state
It certainly
and their
is.
contractors.
Okay. Have you been blowing up any mountains lately? I mean, literally.
Literally blowing. That was a lot of fun.
I know.
What people don't know is the first time I pressed down the plunger, nothing happened. And they had warned me about it because it was an antique plunger.
Yeah.
You can use the plunger or you can use a little button. And I said, no, it's got to be the plunger. And so they said, okay, try it again. But they had warned me, don't be looking down at the plunger when you push it down because it's going to happen so fast that you'll miss the explosion, so keep your head up.
Yeah.
And sure enough, they were right. As soon as the second time, boom, in a fraction of a second, it exploded.
Oh, that must have been so much fun.
Yep, it really was.
Well, speaking of fun, is there anything else we forgot to tell everybody today? I think we've covered a lot.
Boy, we've covered an awful lot. There is an awful lot happening. No, nothing comes to mind at this point.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
Well, we'll just, if anything does, we'll just do this again.
Let's do it again.
All right. Well,
Great.
thank you, as always, for being my guest
Thank you.
today.
It's a great pleasure.
And Bella Vista, stay tuned.
We'll see you again. Bye-bye.
Bye.